What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today we're going to focus in on the biggest blockbuster of this year's trade deadline. I'm talking about Ryan McDonough and JT Miller trading in Broadway for the Sunshine State as the New York Rangers and Tampa Bay Lightning included yet another trade deadline transaction between the two squads as Mack Truck and Miller are heading down to Tampa in exchange for Libor Hayek, Brett Howden, Vladislav Namestnikov, a 2008 first-round pick, and a conditional pick that is a first-round pick if Tampa wins the Cup in the next 2 years, and if not, becomes a second-round pick, according to Bob McKenzie. That's a whole lot to get off. Let's start with the Rangers haul. Obviously we've talked about the job Gorton's done since announcing that they're going to initiate a rebuild. And Hayek was a pretty high second-round pick. Howden was a first-round pick. Nemestikov was a really good 25-year-old player, 44 points in the season, having a career year for Tampa. They wanted to infuse a lot of youth in the organization. They've done that. That first-round pick doesn't hurt either. As you get the Bruins first-round pick, you get Tampa's first-round pick. You get a second from the Devils, a third from the Bruins in the Holden trade. I mean, there's a lot of assets to be had. And, Gordon should be applauded by Rangers fans for acquiring this much capital in such a short period of time. In terms of what's about 4 weeks since they announced that they were going to start the rebuild. And, he took advantage of the deadline. He took advantage of teams thinking they have a chance to go far in the playoffs. Whether or not they do or don't is subjective. Gordon knew what he was doing, and he got a great haul back for two really, really good players. I honestly thought Tampa would have maybe given up a little bit more, but the more I look at it, you say to yourself, all right, McDonough is going to be 29 this summer. He's going to be a free agent the year after that. He is what he is. A very, very, very good defenseman, but he's played a lot of games, a lot of miles in that body. We'll see how it translates, how his next 5 years of his career go. Likewise, JT Miller. I love JT Miller. I've been a JT Miller fan since the days of the development team. And we'll see what happens with the change of scenery. I mean, I always thought he was kind of a weird fit with Alain Vigneault, and we'll see how playing with John Cooper does him good. I mean, 56 points last year. Very, very good hockey player. Restricted free agent at the end of the year, 40 points on the season, coming up back-to-back 20-goal seasons. So, again, I think he's earned himself a nice extension. I think the Lightning will give it to him, and he kind of fills that void with Nemestikov taking his talents to Manhattan. Right now, Tampa and Pittsburgh, I would say, are the two best teams in the Eastern Conference. You look at it from Tampa's perspective. Either Ryan McDonough or Victor Hedman is going to be on the ice in all circumstances in the playoffs. I'd say 48 out of 60 minutes, one of those guys is on the ice. Sure, they'll play together on special teams and shit like that, but the bottom line is you're going to have to see these guys. And if you're Toronto, with all those talented young forwards, knowing that those two elite defensemen will be out there at any point in time, the Boston Bruins, Tampa's giving them trouble all year. And having to go up against those guys night in, night out is going to be tough. And on top of that, Stevie Yzerman didn't give up Braden Point, didn't give up Mikhail Sergachev, didn't give up, these really good young players that he's got on his roster that are integral parts of the team's success. You look at Dachan having a good year at 23, kind of out of nowhere, and Adam Murray's gotten a couple cups of coffee in the NHL, and they've had some really good young players do a lot of really good things for them this year. And this is a very, very talented group in Tampa, and Stevie Yzerman's looking to get them over the top and back to the final for the first time since they lost 3 years ago to the Blackhawks and lift that cup for the first time since they won it in 2004. So, again, I think this is a very good deal for Tampa. I think the Rangers got a lot of good assets to help in their rebuild. And at the end of the day, this is just a classic trade deadline move. Stevie Yzerman did not give up Sergachev or Braden Point to make this happen. The rumors the last few weeks that Tampa and Ottawa were going back and forth on Erik Karlsson, but, nothing came to fruition. They've got a pretty good consolation prize in the form of Ryan McDonough. So we'll see what happens in the next few days, weeks, and months. Anyway, that's all I got to episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for episodes for the season and beyond. Later, guys.